which is that the existence of centrist and liberal views, mixed with a love of genre, acts as a shield and breeding ground for right-wing harm within our community.
Oh, there we go. Hey, I happened to randomly click on a random part. This is 17 minutes in, and I actually clicked on the thesis of the video. He talks like this the entire time. I don't know where that accent comes from, but I hate it, and it makes me want to cut my eyes out. Lord Almighty. Let's see. In praise of shadows. Let's just hop into it. In praise of shadows. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen. If you were on the internet at all this weekend, you were probably exposed to one of the worst video essays maybe that have ever existed. It was made by a guy named In Praise of Shadows, who I have not heard of before. I was not subbed to him, even kind of like randomly. Even though the dude is in my sort of wheelhouse, so to say. He's a horror guy. This was
reflection. And actually
Thank you for auto playing. God damn it. Nothing's going my way today. I swear to God, nothing's going my way. It was one of the worst video essays I've ever seen in my life. We're not going to watch it because it was, at the time of release, 3.5 hours long, and since has been reduced to 2 hours and 45 minutes. Should be cut down to about 5, where he just, I guess, plugs his Patreon and leaves, because that's the only fucking thing that I think is, probably everyone's cool with, is him just trying to make money on the internet. I don't know who the In Praise of Shadows, the real guy, is. I'm not aware of who they are as an individual, but let me just try to break down to you, as I did to my wife this weekend, this video for off the dome, because it's much more important to me to do it that way, because it's fucking hilarious. This is the guy, of course, fucking Brandon Buckingham, who was a guy that fought at, I think, Creator Clash and maybe won. This is the dude we're talking about. I'll bring a picture of him up. I thought this wasn't real. The reason I saved this even was before I even saw the video. And I saw a picture of this guy, and I thought that this was fake. There's a dude on TikTok. I don't know who he is. He's horrible. But if you look through my shorts, you'll see him. He does like a Vosh impression. And this guy seems like he's doing a Noah Samson impression. This dude is the guy, if you were in high school, that is like the dude that hangs out at high school parties into his late 20s. They all look like this. Like, this is the dude who's like, I brought some weed. You guys want to smoke with me? He's just got that vibe. Absolutely greasy as fuck. The dude's fucking video essay was profoundly offensive. First off, like, by the way, if you're listening, I don't know what his actual name is. Hold on, let's see if I can look him up. I had some stuff saved. I guess he fucking deleted the goddamn quote tweet. Or the goddamn tweet thread, of course. You should have taken pictures, Tyler. Tyler, why didn't you take pictures of it? In Praise of Shadows. Okay, his account's completely locked. These posts are protected. Wonderful. Okay, well, there we go. So anyway, this guy, I'm going to just try to run you through the absolute chaos that is this dude's video essay. I could not watch it on stream. I would literally not be able to stop talking about it for 5 fucking seconds. It starts off with him going to and complaining about a convention, a horror convention, which I am very well acquainted with because I go to them to sell books. I've sold tons of books at horror conventions. I've plugged my podcast. It's a whole thing. I'm actually going to be going to some this year. Probably not many horror conventions. I know for sure one book convention and maybe a horror convention when it gets closer to Halloween. I digress. Horror conventions, just so that you know, are all shapes and sizes, just like people. And some of them are very big and some of them are very small. This condescending fuck, this piece of fucking shit, just talks fucking smack to the convention circuit as though it owes him something. And like immediately, I fucking hate the guy. Like, so In Praise of Shadows, if you're watching this because you're like, fuck a lefty, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you as a person. And I'm going to get to why. I'm not short selling it. This isn't like one of those like, Tyler, are you a crypto righty or something? No, I fucking hate this guy. He's a piece of shit. Like, unironically, this video, you should be off the internet forever. I'm going to start small with just him going to a horror convention and not fucking understanding that every horror convention you go to is not going to be fucking Horror Hound Cincinnati Fall Edition, all right? They're all sorts of different shapes and sizes. I've gone to some dog shit horror conventions. I'm not even going to name, well, I can't even name it because I can't fucking remember what it was, but I went to one in Huntington last year that sucked. Horrible horror convention, and it was 10 times worse than this. The biggest name we had at it was Brian Keene, who's another author. I think I talked shit about Brian Keene like a fucking week or two ago. But he's probably an alright guy. Almost nobody at this thing. It was a single room. It was badly planned. And the whole thing was a fucking travesty. The convention that I went to was unironically worthy of complaining about. Why? Because for almost every day of the 3-day convention that I fortunately didn't have to pay for, but other people had to pay for a fucking table because they just fucking asked me to be there, they would turn the lights out in the one room so that they could watch movies on the big screen. So, like, it's a convention floor where you sell stuff. To sell things, people have to see them and touch them and be able to walk safely. They didn't give a fuck. They turned the lights off and they played the most grotesque horror films, like low-budget horror films I've ever seen in my life. Horrible. Nobody on earth knows about these things. Just people being as gross as possible on the screen while everyone is trapped in a room with their shit and can't leave, as opposed to other. That is one of the worst, I would say actually the worst horror convention I've ever been to. And then I've been to a bunch of other ones. Shout out Mothman Festival. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back to that this year. No, not Mothman. I've been to Mothman. Mothman's pretty solid. That's in Point Pleasant. I'm thinking of Flatwoods Monster Convention. I went to that last year. That's a pretty good one. It's very small. It was their first year last year. It's a single-day con, but it is what it is. As these things get bigger, you get like different guests and stuff. The actual horror convention circuit, the last big one I went to was fucking, what the hell is it called? Horror convention here in Lexington before we moved late last year. And you have everyone. That has they have like roving bands of people that go and present at these things. You know, Felissa Rose, I think, was there. And Kane Hodder, because they actually really kind of are at almost all of these things. But a lot of other smaller people are there too. You had like almost every member of the extended cast of Terrifier. Like guy that gets his head hit by a hammer 4 was there. And the thing is if you've never been to one of these conventions, people sign up to go talk to all of these fucking people. The one in Lexington, I can't remember grotesque or bad? Both. It would bad grotesque, like literally just being as nasty as possible with nothing going on, and you can't get away from it. Like I'm not talking, it's not, these aren't the kind of, this is a movie that's beyond an NC-17 rating, that somebody just basically boiled up in their fucking bathtub at their fucking house. Absolutely fucking disgusting. I forgot to click start again on that, my bad. But anyway, they're all different sizes, right? So another one that I went to that was like a not great convention, but they sort of almost kind of did their best, was fucking, what the hell is that called? Because they're all like, they're hard to remember the names of them because they're all like Horror Fest, Horror Hound, Horror Weekend, Scare Fest, Scare Weekend, Scare this. Horror Hound has the most notable one. That's in Cincinnati. I can always remember it because you can't get fucking booths there. But it was one that was in Louisville. It was at a fucking sanatorium, and it was 3 days, which was too long. And it did not have Felissa Rose and Kane Hodder there, actually. But they had other people. I think it was a bunch of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre folks and stuff. It was very cool, right? And the biggest thing about this is it's a place, it's not about having a place for just to meet the celebrities, although that's a massive aspect of it. You also have people that sell arts and crafts and shit there. You have people that do talks. You have screenings for films. Depending on how big it is, you can have a lot of stuff or a little bit of stuff. And every convention is not built equal. But one of the things is you can talk shit about a convention. You really can. And people do. But, like, you have to talk shit about conventions relative to how the convention is put on. You know what I mean? And this guy just fucking whined. This In Praise of Shadows guy. First off, I think he started off talking about, he called it fucking hillbilly and shit, which first off, fuck you, you piece of shit. This motherfucker talks about he's like from fucking Asheville, North Carolina. Okay, I'm from Austin, Texas. I know what it's like to be a cowboy. Shut the fuck up. Know your fucking place in the fucking world, you piece of shit. I fucking hope his career literally is destroyed. Like, share this. I hope In Praise of Shadows literally never makes another fucking video. I'm not even done being pissed at him. Fuck you personally for saying shit like that. You fucking low rent, pedophile built piece of shit. Fuck your shirt. Fuck your whiny ass, horrible fucking accent. And fuck all your videos you've ever made. Fuck your audience and fuck you personally. I fucking hate that shit. I cannot cotton to people being classist, especially fucking inside of their own little fucking groups and shit. Right? Like it's somehow okay. Like, oh, don't worry. Like, I'm a fucking white guy. I'll tell you about the white guys. Don't worry, people out there. He goes on, by the way, to call like fucking all white people racist. He's a white guy in some sort of like fake solidarity with a black person he's imagined is in the room with him, or at least a non-white person. Fucking loser shit, right? Like he's a fucking pick-me in the most irritating way possible because he doesn't even realize he's doing pick-me shit because he's part of the fucking dominant class of society. So he's just literally shitting on poor white people this entire video. The entire video, he shits on poor white people. Just for fucking, for like, I don't know, lefty bucks in some part of the internet that I want scraped off of the fucking face of the world. I despise people like him more than a lot of other human beings because it's a perfectly sort of unique awfulness that comes from that. Don't worry, like I can be like classist and a gigantic piece of shit because I'm protecting non-whites from other whites as the most powerful type of white. It is fucking horrible. Like it's grating. I hate it. I'll tell you what. Praise if you don't come near my fucking community. If you are a fucking In Praise of Shadows fan and you want to defend that kind of behavior, I'm telling you, fucking kick that can down the road and try to go bring it up to somebody else. I hate it because that kind of behavior also immediately leads to other sorts of bigotry. Off rip. Every time I have seen a white guy that talks like that, inevitably you find out that they're a bigot in almost every other aspect of their life. They're just like, oh, I just need to like fit in. So, you know, my bigotry of low expectations for fucking POC and shit goes. And apparently he put out some video, and I've heard clips from it, and it kind of sounds like he's just saying, the cannibal murder, the rapist murdering cannibals in The Hills Have Eyes are like justified in killing the people that are like coming onto their land. Because the people that are coming onto their land are like in like representative of, I don't know, fucking white consumer culture or some shit. And like he's like, you should try to when you're trying to understand this, understand that if they were like Native Americans doing this or black people doing this, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Crazy, just crazy shit. I don't know. There's just something uniquely fucking irritating about somebody doing pick me shit, and you've already been picked by life. Like you're a fucking like, dude, you're at the top of the food chain like me. What the fuck are you trying to like do right now? In Praise of Shadows essay is the most meandering, inconsistent, mist-thin veil of woe is me pandering slob. Yes. You guys can watch the rest of his shit. I gotta stay focused because I'm not even 10 seconds into this video essay. He goes to this convention. He talks shit to these people. He calls it fucking hillbilly stuff. He complains about how he has to go into hillbilly fucking country. And then when he gets there, he has to walk. He has to walk to the convention center, which is, he talks about cons like he's been to a few, but like, I think I could see in chat, please let me know if you've been to an anime convention or any large convention, PopCon, fucking, I'm not going to start naming them off the top of my head, but like, you've probably walked a bit to get to a convention because it's like a major sporting event in an area level of fucking attention. Like literally that lasts all day. Usually conventions run from something like 9 a.m. to 5 or even 5 p.m. or even all the way to midnight, depending on the weekend and the type of convention. Very long. And the entire time the convention floor is packed, and there's never any fucking parking at conventions. There is never any parking at conventions, ever. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. The closest I've gotten, every time there's been parking at the convention, it's been one where I fucking barely sold shit. Let me put it that way. If you go to the convention and you can park fucking near it, and you don't have special parking for vendors, you are not selling shit because there's no one there. That's pretty much, that's the half and hand. The convention here in Lexington, we had to park 10 or 15 blocks away from the convention center in downtown Lexington if we wanted to park for free, or we had to pay $30 to park in the lot. And we still had to walk a fucking mile and a half across the whole gigantic lot to get into the fucking, I can't remember if that was in Rupp Arena or if it was in the conventions. I don't know enough about downtown Lexington to keep everything straight right now, but Rupp Arena is right next to it. Either way, like, that's standard, bog standard for conventions. Bitching, whining, pissing. Like, it would have been one of the least, this is a fucking concern for me ever. He also completes like, somebody had to walk across. Yeah, he says, I had to walk across uneven pathways. That's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. No, it's not, you fucking moron. If the convention's inside the convention center. Everything that happens outside is not their problem. This motherfucker. Uncle Iroll, $5. I can confirm as an anime conner, you got to hoof it within your giant spray painted wig in the hot sun through a hot hotel or through a hotel lobby at least. Yes. It's hyper common. Like, it's not even completely unarguable. Completely unarguable. But the funniest part is he's saying, if I would have stumbled on this path, I would, like, somebody could have sued. Like, how fucking out of touch are you where you think you can fall on the way somewhere and fucking, like, sue somebody? Like, walk somewhere else, dipshit. The literal lawyer is going to look at you like, dude, Saul Goodman Slippin' Jimmy couldn't get you for this. You got to have something, you fucking maroon. Oh, no. Oh God, my Gorpos are out of whack. Thank you very much, Armando. Come on, Gorpo. Load entirely. There we go. But dude, this whole thing is fucking irritating. He goes to the convention, he whines about how fucking lowball the convention is. One of his biggest issues is he can't fucking get to the fucking point. This dude writes extra shit. You think my digressions are bad? This dude sat down, wrote out, recorded, and edited this together like this. The whole point of this entire convention thing is that Kevin Spacey was there. If you guys don't know, Kevin Spacey, maybe, I still don't understand what happened in regard to it. He maybe sexually assaulted a guy who did kill himself, and, like, it's weird, but, like, Kevin Spacey's a strange fucking guy. Kevin Spacey's very fucking weird. But the thing is Kevin Spacey's always been weird, and he's always played weirdos. Like, no one has ever been of the mind that Kevin Spacey's a normal guy. You know what I mean? Problematic, but it is what it is. This Praise of Shadows guy tries to say, whatever. There's a giant Kevin Spacey banner at this con, and maybe the con did do something bad. I don't know. He just speculates the entire time. In Praise of Shadows speculates the entire time. Like, literally, I didn't hear a single smidgen of goddamn evidence unless it was something he photographed himself. Horrible construction for a video. Apparently, Kevin Spacey was there. He tries to downplay Kevin Spacey being at a horror convention by saying, Kevin Spacey hasn't been in a lot of horror shows, this, that, and the other. Like, well, first off, dumb fuck. If I can call you idiot, dipshit, moron, asshole. If you've been to one of these fucking conventions, you will have seen people who were in one fucking horror movie ever. Sometimes not even the most important person, not even the killer or a victim. Just like, this is the dad. This is the fucking dad from The Exorcist. I'm making this one up. And like, he was in that one movie one time, but he's got a booth and people are like, hey, that's the dad for The Exorcist. I'm going to go take a picture with him and have him sign something. That's the point of the convention. Kevin Spacey is the killer in fucking Seven. David Fincher's movie Seven, the one movie he's in, is one of the most iconic horror films of all time. Of all time. The movie has one of the funniest memes of all. Ancient meme. What's in the box? What's in the box? And apparently Kevin Spacey is here. I think Kevin Spacey's weird. I don't know if I would probably still go to a convention if Kevin Spacey was there. The convention people have to make fucking money. They have to make money. So no one, the possibility of somebody pulling out of a con because of a last minute guest, it happens. It's not something that I'm going to say is even rare, but like, I couldn't see a lot of people making this massive principled stance on like Kevin Spacey. Absolutely not. Usually it's just like, well, fucking, if he's going to be there, I might get some more autographs. Definitely you are not going to see a decrease in people that go to it. Because you just look at him. It's like, oh, look, there he is. He's a fucking monster. I would go to a jail Kevin Spacey's in to look at Kevin Spacey. Why not this thing? Apparently, while he's there, he's not even on the floor, which makes sense. The In Praise of Shadow guy talks about it like, that's crazy. He didn't give any speeches or anything, and he was barely on the floor. Like, dude, he's a megastar. Like, I know he did the shit, but he was a fucking mega star before he fucked everything up. So, like, it's not safe for him to be out and about all the time. And I think this was his first convention back, so he's probably playing it safe. Apparently, for like $300 or something, you could go to like a little marquee setup where you could stick your head through something, and then like it was him holding the box from Seven, and you could take a picture, which is actually like, that kind of fucking slaps. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually that's kind of cool. Like, you're putting me in a position where I've got to fucking defend, like, Kevin Spacey being in a con. Super normal. Like, it's super normal. I completely missed on the first go-through that the other guy that he's talking about was at this place is a dude named Wendigoon, whose name I think I've heard before, but whose content I am also not familiar with. I think I've said this before. I just, like, pop horror coverage from people on the internet tends to be dog shit. It just is. So like half the time I'm not interested in it. And he's just like, Wendigoon went to the same thing and then he didn't. He liked it. I didn't like this convention and he liked it. And I forgot that completely until people reminded me. Because from here, this video goes off the fucking rails. This is, by the way, only the first like 15 to 30 minutes of this shit. I can't even remember where it goes to next specifically, but we basically just hop into like talking about, no, I think this is where we start talking about Abigail. We start talking about a movie called like Abigail. I have no idea why. Cause dude, I listened to this sort of like 2.5 times right now. Or like time and a half to 2 times at this point. And he talks about this film called Abigail. I cannot remember why it got brought up. If I had to guess, it's because Wendigoon said it was like good or some shit. His whole contention is that Abigail is not a good video. You gotta listen to the way this fucking person talks. Hold on. Actually, I can look through it.
Problem that I think is an issue within horror, which is that the existence of centrist and liberal views, mixed with a love of genre, acts as a shield and breeding ground for right-wing harm within our community.
Oh, there we go. Hey, I happened to randomly click on a random part. This is 17 minutes in, and I actually clicked on the thesis of the video. He talks like this the entire time. I don't know where that accent comes from, but I hate it, and it makes me want to cut my fucking eyes out. Like, horrible shit. I just got here 15 minutes ago. Wendigoon is involved. Apparently, the entire thing is about Wendigoon, right? From this, we sort of get into, I'm not going to tell it I'm going to do less, probably more research, but I'm not going to be dedicated to trying to like piece this whole thing together like accurately. We start talking about a movie called Abigail at some point, and he talks about, this is another just a dumb point. I can remember mostly the dumb points. Abigail is a like low budget dog shit looking film. My wife recognized the trailer. She recognized the description of it because she's seen the trailer. She's like, oh, it's the movie with the little girl vampire thing. And yeah, that's it. Apparently in the movie, it's a reveal that the little girl is a vampire. And like, there's like a hit out on her or something. Like, that's the point of the movie. His whole contention is that the trailer for the film gives away the film's twist. And he's like ass blasted about that. But here's the thing. That was, and I really can't hammer this home enough, every fucking movie trailer from the 90s before. So, like, I don't know how the fuck you can talk about movies at all, and say that you have, like, a grounding in them, and not know that that's what movie trailers used to be. When I was a kid, movie trailers sounded like this. It would be like, tonight, this coming this fall, a heartwarming comedy. John Candy is a man trying to get back home to his family, and Steve Martin is a high-strung businessman trying to get back home to his. After a little bit of an accident on the way back, they find that they have to travel together. Their personalities don't exactly clash. I can't believe it. Ah! Join John Candy and Steve Martin as they try to travel back home for the holidays and get back to their families. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Coming this fall from Disney. Or the fuck, like, that was all of them. All of them. Every fucking movie trailer sounded like that. They would tell you the whole thing. Why? Because people are like, I gotta drive 15, 20 minutes to a movie I've never heard about. And if it's not gonna be good, I don't want it. By the way, this is all these fucking, these dipshits. I don't know about tropes and books. Bro, how about once upon a time, if you watched a trailer for a film, this coming this summer, Arnold Schwarzenegger has his shirt off. Retired Commando Rick O'Reilly is sick of the way that these pigs have been shitting in the pig pen. I can't believe the pigs are shitting in the pig pen again. I can't keep cleaning it. But he decides to take matters into his own hands. Ah! Rick Riley. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Rick Riley in Pig Puncher. Ah! Like over and over and over again. Comedy, horror movies would be like that. You know what I mean? Nobody saw The Exorcist in the 1970s or whatever when the fuck it came out and was like, oh my god, this girl gets possessed? Like, they do. The fucking trailer has floating off the Everybody knows. That's how you got people to watch movies back in the day. Like, one of the only the legendary spoiler-free fucking advertisement was Psycho. Psycho back in the day, because they used to tell everybody everything. Psycho, when it originally ran, fucking, what's his name? Oh, talk like the original fucking President Sunday. Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock, like, notoriously bribed people to not give away the end of the film. Or, you know what I mean? Like the mid film, like, switch where you find out that the woman gets stabbed to death in the shower. If I just spoiled Psycho for you, please just go inhale a whole ocean. I don't give a fuck. Perish. The movie's still good if you know that she gets stabbed to death in the shower. If you didn't know that, it's one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. You can get fucked. That's all I have to say. Jesus Christ. But, like, all of the rest of them were like that. This guy's complaining about this Abigail film. This movie destroyed, like, it ruins it. And then this turns into an entire screed on how capitalism is destroying films, and all films have to be made. All films had to be made with, like, this intent, this art. This is Vosh. It's Vosh again. This is a Vosh opinion coming from a guy that's a movie dude, which is this, movies need to be art. If a movie isn't artistic, what is really the point of us making these things? I would rather a movie not do well. I think he brings up some, like, references to films I've never fucking heard of. I would rather a movie not do well and live to its artistic, like, height than sacrifice itself on the altar of capitalism. It's like, are you fucking stupid? Am I the only fucking lefty on the left that understands commerce? I swear to fuck, what is internet leftism other than just reactionaryism just to, like, America bad? It's just America bad reactionaryism. This is just like, well, capitalism happens in America, therefore capitalism is bad. I don't understand what capital is other than it means money go up. So anytime money go up, bad thing happening. Money go down mean art. Like, are you fucking stupid? You know who would not agree with you? Every fucking movie director who's ever made a film that mattered. Hitchcock would tell you to go fuck yourself. Craven would tell you to go fuck yourself. It also is crazy because this statement, I'm sorry, I have to fucking educate in praise of Shadow. Mr. I want to talk about movies is just ignoring the existence of Roger Corman, which is crazy, which is fucking crazy. By the way, if you're a lefty and you're fucking watching this shit and you're like, I don't know, I think he's got a point. And I just said the name Roger Corman, and you have no idea who I'm talking about, never talk about movies again. You don't need to talk about them. You can say like, I enjoy them, and repeat some shit you heard some fucking idiot talk about in a video essay. Literally never talk about the making of movies again if you do not know the name Roger Corman. Roger Corman is Mr. Make It Happen. Roger Corman is Mr. Make It fucking happen. Why? Because when you make a lot of movies, eventually you get to make a good one. You get to make a good one. This is a guy, let me bring this up. Roger Corman Films. He was a producer, by the way. Making all kinds of fucking shit from 1926 to 2024. Oh man, he just died. What? Roger Corman died May 9th? Roger Corman died. Oh my God. I'm glad I got to see him talk. What shit? Roger Corman died earlier this month. I'm fucking, dude, hats off to a real one. Roger Corman makes fucking movies. Almost all of the bad movies you've ever heard of, he has fucking had some hand in. A lot of the good ones too. Let's bring up this the Pope of pop cinema, the spiritual godfather of New Hollywood, and the king of cult. The Little Shop of Horrors, right? He made that. Little Shop of Horrors, Roger Corman made on a bet. Roger Corman made that movie on a bet that he could put together and film a movie in a day. Or a weekend, it might have been. Literally put together, film, cut, edit, and put it out. Little Shop of Horrors. Which is like, not the worst movie ever. It's from like the 1950s. It's dog shit. That movie that he made on a bet, cheap as fuck, was the first film appearance of fucking Jack Nicholson as an insane doctor. And it was the inspiration for the Little Pet Shop of Horror, or the Little Shop of Horrors, which is, feed me Seymour, feed me all night long. He is like, the thing about Corman is Corman was always making movies, so Corman always needed new people. When you make a shitload of films, you need a shitload of talent, a shitload of people to work. So you give first chances to so many people because everything can't be good. Everything is not going to be the Seventh Seal, which, hey, coin flip on whether or not that's good. Stalker. Everything's not going to be Stalker. Everything's not going to be as artistically impactful as The Cook, The Thief, His Wife, Her Lover. Like, there's a lot of shit that's going on. But let me get through here. Let's see. Roger Corman mentored and gave a start to many young film directors such as Francis Ford Coppola, Ron Howard, yes, that Francis Ford Coppola, yes, that Ron Howard, yes, that name, Martin Scorsese, Jonathan Demme, Peter Bogdanovich, Joe Dante, John Sayles, and James Cameron. He was also highly influential in the new Hollywood filmmaking movement in the 1960s and 70s. He helped launch the careers of actors like Peter Fonda, Jack Nicholson, Dennis Hopper, Bruce Dorn, Diane Ladd, and William Shatner. Here's a good one. If you don't know all those names, then you can get to this part. Corman occasionally acted in films by directors who started with him, including The Godfather Part 2, The Silence of the Lambs, Philadelphia, Apollo 13, The Manchurian Candidate. He's one of the most influential people in the history of mankind, and a fucking unrepentant pro fucking capital kind of guy, bro. Like he's not like, I need to fucking exploit the working man, but he's do it quick, do it on the cheap, and do it as much as you can. The guy likes to make films, which is really what art is about. Art is not about making the Mona Lisa every time. It's about sketching. It's about perfecting your craft. It's about working with a lot of different people. And that guy, Roger Corman, and his dog shit fucking films, hold on. Can we get down? Is there, it has to be an entire thing. It's the filmography here. Jesus. Oh yeah, this is his entire list of he doesn't even just, he has a list of people who are hyper famous and as his filmography. Literally the people he put on, he has that. It's longer than most people's filmography. It just keeps fucking going down. Like it's insanity. I'm not going to keep going on Roger Corman. Look up Roger Corman. The point of this is In Praise of Shadows is a fucking moron. Because when he's talking about Jason Blum is where he goes with this, is that Jason Blum puts out movies only trying to make a movie for money instead of trying to make a movie for art. And I think a lot of people would agree with me, that making art is more important than making money. And it's like, no one agrees with you. No one fucking agrees with you. Where are you from that you can say, you know what, making money is not that important because it's not my neighborhood. You know why I'm a lefty? Because making money's important. That's why that's why I like a lot of lefty policies. Because a lot of them, when you cut off the fat that is dorm room revolutionaries and morons, and you actually get to the fucking labor aspect of things, then you get to a point where it's like, oh yeah, I fucking want my fair share of shit. I want the chance to make a fucking movie. I don't want people to sit on IP for the rest of their life. I don't want fucking companies to be able to buy up movies and not release them and cut me out of my fucking cake. Movies are about business. Business is about business can be about art. Like it is a mix. One thing does not have to fucking be completely, it's not a zero-sum game. You know what I mean? Like The Thing is great. The Thing made money. Fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre made a fuckload of money off of a budget of nothing. That's why we always talk about the budget of these films, right? That's why we always talk about fucking directors reining their shit in. He started talking about James Cameron's Avatar, actually, and how it was not the best, but it's a fucking passion project. James Cameron got fucking put on by Roger Corman, baby. God damn. Everyone knows that Jason Blum cracks out films for money. It's not a hot take. No, it's not. Yeah, he also says Get Out, but he gives a nod to Get Out, but says Peele fucking has split from Jason Blum or something, or the Blumhouse films. But everybody that gets successful working with Jason Blum does that. He's a producer. He's not their father. You know, so if you make a bunch of money, there's no reason, and you have the ability to just produce on your own, especially in horror, where your average film production cost ranges from 15 million to maybe the biggest horror films, really, unless somebody's doing something crazy stupid, 30 million. You know, they're not the size of Marvel films. They're small. They're very tiny, and they're great. But the buy-in is still $20 million. So you got to fucking if you can turn a film around 12 million and turn it around for 50 million, that's great. If you keep doing that and you make a lot of shitty films that make a lot of money, then when you have a chance to take a fucking risk on something that's going to be a little bit more expensive to make, you don't have to fucking worry as much about the risk. It's still a risk, but if you just start your production company, you're the first thing we're going to do is my art house film. Ladies, we're putting Master and Margarita on the screen. I don't have the IP for it, and I don't know anything about it other than the name, but I know I've got $60 million allocated to it, and that's going to be our one goal. No, dude, just make some fucking... that's why you had titties in films. Titties and blood and, hot people. Because it would get people to go see the film, right? And then eventually, down the line, you do get to make Godfather, or you do get to make this or that, but you have to have... It has to be a mix. It has to be a mix of two, because you can't just be wasting money on shit that's that big. Because eventually, if you have movies that nobody gets a cut of, the actors aren't going to want to work for you because they're working for cuts of royalties, you know. And if you run out, if you don't have fucking films going all the time, all of the rest of the people that work on the films that aren't art fucks, you know, your grips, your electricians, your fucking camera operators, your set designers, carpentry, fucking hair and makeup, all of those people don't usually get a cut of royalties. So they're just going fucking show to show to show to show to show to show to show. They don't give a fuck. They could work on fucking Godfather and then go to work on Bride of Chucky 2 and then go to work on like fucking John Dick's House of Swinging Cocks. They don't give a fuck. They're just going to do good makeup the entire time. Vanguard Supreme, Canadian $7. Speaking of James Cameron, I just sat down and got done watching a new video by Norell shitting on his 4K remasters of Aliens and True Lies. Highly recommend. I that shit terrifies me. I know the feeling. I have to step away from my own work. I gotta take a cue from Roger Corman. Because I do look at my own stuff sometimes, and you get better, and then you're like, oh man, I want to just clean it up and make it look nicer, and then it always looks like shit. You spend too much time. David Lynch spent years slowly making Eraserhead. Yeah, and the guy that actually was Eraserhead didn't cut his hair the entire time. So they keep doing it. But like that's that section, right? And we talk about Blum. I don't care about Jason Blum's politics. This is another thing that's very, very irritating about online lefties, right? Is this, and it's not all of us, right? It's just, you know what I mean? It's these, the dorm room revolutionaries. I really have to coin a term for them. Hassan fans is great. People who don't care about being politically efficacious, they just care about the moral perfection of their existence, right? They just want to be, I want everything to be perfect. And I want to, like, I think it's what ContraPoint said. I want to critique power, not fucking take it. That kind of these people are fucking filth. I hate them. I want to destroy them. I want to make them uncomfortable on the internet to the point where they stop making content and they vanish fucking forever because they drive me crazy. People's politics can be bad, okay? And they can be on the opposite side of the aisle as you. But if their politics are not part of the current conversation and their politics that they do have that you don't like are not like to Nazi, I literally want you fucking dead levels of bad, stop trying to convince yourself that people are evil because they don't agree with you on everything. Because you will never be able to reach them. You're just going to make yourself politically inefficacious. If you just want to be a self-righteous, self-isolating asshole who lives on the internet, fucking never accomplishing shit but jerking off into your mouth every day on Twitter, do it. I don't care. I'm going to fucking literally do everything I can to make your life bad so I don't have to see or hear from you again. I swear to God, that is my war on the left as a lefty. That's the sweeping and cleaning up I've got to do. I hate it when those kind of people feel comfortable sharing their dumb fuck opinions. I hate it when they're like, you know what? I'm going to insert myself in a conversation that I don't need to be in. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Jason Blum is a guy, he's fucking, they're like, he's righty. Yeah, of course he is. He's a fucking capitalist. It is what it is. You are not going to convince him of anything being a fucking psycho on the internet. First off, I mean, if you think that anything that Praises Shadows did, he's deleting his own stuff bit by bit by bit by bit. So if you ever found yourself like, this guy I think is the best way to proceed into the future politically, you're fucking wrong. But like, you have got to stop essentializing people based on the one little political thing that they have. And stop doing this thing that this guy does where you start trying to like dig in and justify your own conspiracy brain psychosis with a Pepe Silva meme from fucking from Always Sunny, you know, like, no, it's Pepe Silva. He's Pepe Silva. You got to stop doing that shit because you look like a fucking psycho and it doesn't get you anywhere and you're just going to distract yourself from shit that actually needs to be done. When did you come into this? Good question. In a bit. This, talking about Jason Blum. Jason Blum's a bad guy. Sure, I don't fucking care. You have to prove to me that he's doing something that's harmful that I can stop because I'm not going to stop watching Blumhouse films. I can't even keep track of, I don't even know it's a Blumhouse film until I fucking turn it on because I don't sort by publisher. I don't give a fuck. I just say like, oh, is this going to be a good movie or not? And then I go and fucking watch it. Completely worthless. Completely fucking worthless speculation. Should have been its own fucking video, and I don't fucking care. In this he starts going into the psychosis that leads us to the fucking Wendigoon shit. Before we get there, he starts actually doing what the video is about and talking about bad conservative horror films, which he just hops into. I cannot keep track of every Blumhouse film. I don't think I've seen any of them that are especially conservative, but I'm not saying that they don't exist. You know, it's a production studio. If they think that they can make money off of your film, they're going to do it, and they'll make it. He starts talking about one was this nun movie. I remember seeing like ads for it, and I was like, that looks like shit. Almost every exorcism film is like vaguely conservative anyway, because it just has to be, because of all the religion anyway, kind of deal. You know, you're predicated on like the church being right, with the notable exception of the taking of Deborah Logan and the exorcism of Emily Rose. Is that the one where the priest kills the girl because he's a fucking psycho? I can't remember. Anyway, he rapid fire blitzes through a series of movies. I was playing Hell Divers while I was listening to him, which I think is the standard like kind of setup that anyone. I can't remember any of the fucking movies he talked about. He would just say like, this movie is a thing that happened, and of course this plot point occurred, and it was a very conservative plot point. And of course, anybody knows that if they see this thing happen, this is a very conservative thing. Blah 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 blah. Like rapid fire, 5 to 20 sentence total summaries. That's the name. Bad Conservative Horror Movies is the name of the video. That's like right around here.
Willing to criticize aspects of horror films either out of social politeness, because it is a small community, or more frequently, allow their values to take second place behind their love of genre, or out of financial benefit. All three of these are an issue that we need to address because they allow active harm to be transgressed and to be continued. To explain this, I think it would help if we look at the film Abigail. That is not a concern.
Okay, he gets to Abigail in an hour and a half. This shit is long as fuck. So here's some of these. The Dead Don't Die. Oh, this is the Adam Driver film. I haven't even seen this.
In how badly it is handling its writing. I actually do like the church does not necessarily. To find examples of demon possession movies about nuns and about pregnancy that are both extremely progressive in what they are doing. The setting of being in a church does not necessarily dictate conservatism, and is something that should be dropped from future exorcism movies. The Dead Don't Die is an example of the kind of film that can become conservative by being misguided in how badly it is handling its writing.
If you look closely at this and know what you're looking at, this is Jim Jarmusch. Oh, okay, never mind. This is by Jim. I was like, I didn't know Jim Jarmusch directed this, but I started seeing all of the names in here, and I was like, I think like almost all of these people, or a surprisingly large amount of these people, were in Coffee and Cigarettes. This seems like a Jim Jarmusch kind of fucking thing. And like maybe somebody's a big Jim Jarmusch fan and wanted to get a bunch of Jim Jarmusch people back together. And then I look down and it's him. I did it off the top of the door. I haven't seen this. I think I saw the ads for it, but I didn't know that he was in it.
Conservative by being misguided.
Thank you for putting that on the cover, Jim.
Badly it is handling its writing. I actually do like this film a lot more than the average person, I think. As you ever really only hear.
I like that you, Pimenta, I like that you said that bro would have an aneurysm if he learns that trauma exists. He hand waves trauma. He hand waves trauma and being like
negative things about it. It is a folksy kind of horror movie set in a small sleep white people. And this is included in the film, but is never actually dealt with or adapted into a horror film. Steve Buscemi's character, Farmer Frank, is a horrible racist who wears an altered MAGA hat to make sure that everybody knows that when he says "Make America Great Again," he's specifically talking about white people. And this is included in the film, but is never actually dealt with in any meaningful specific.
If I tell you that I cannot fucking remember anything from this video, and it's not my fault, it's just that this guy, his voice comes out through his eyeballs. Like, I don't fucking, it's gone.
Before he realizes that zombies are attacking his property, he impulsively shoots a black one in the head on his porch, without warning. But then he ends up dying the next scene, and the film has no interest in actually dealing with this outside of the basic presentation of who this person is. And it ends with a scene where Tom Waits' character, Hobo Bob, who is a hermit who lives away from society because he dislikes us, and he's narrating about the empty-headed consumerist culture of America, while our main cop characters, who are the only survivors left in the town, are callously shooting people in the head that they've known for decades. And
okay, I when I heard him talking about this, I thought it was a movie where people are actually killing people. Callously shooting people in the head that they've known for decades. Like, dust is coming out of them. What the fuck?
In a way, it is maybe. I just want everyone to be happy, even though they don't want to be. The major problem with Dashcam as a work of art is that it presents Hardy as a person with no criticism at all, similarly to Farmer Frank in The Dead Don't Die. It is not normal for your second YouTube video that you ever make to get picked up by the algorithm, or covered in a news.
This shit is killing me. Oh my god. I can't. But yeah, he talks about a bunch of these things. He talks about trauma too, and hand waves it, and then, dude, like his voice literally fucking takes me out of the path. Anyway, we get to the third part of this, which he cut out. Osu on our thing. I'm not gonna bring it up for this. I don't think I really need to, and I hate fucking listening to this guy's voice, so I just don't want to do it anymore. He gets into the actual part that's about Wendigoon, which is 45 minutes long. And it is this guy. He starts that part off with talking about the region. He says that Wendigoon is from north of a Cherokee reservation that he knows about. And Wendigoon said that he has maybe some sort of Wendigoon has some sort of like mild Cherokee blood. The thing is, and I've noticed this even while I was like listening to the side, I'm like, I think 99% of the shit that this guy's attributing to Wendigoon is Wendigoon shit talking and memeing and just like, because some of the stuff is made up. Wendigoon first off says, or he says that Wendigoon invented the Boogaloo Boys, right? Which, if I remember correctly, no, I'm thinking of the other ones that were invented by the guy from Vice News. That's the other one, the ones the guy got arrested. You know what I mean? The Boogaloo Boys, and that Boogaloo was like a Cherokee word that he knew growing up, and that's why he wore Hawaiian shirts. I already know that Boogaloo Boys is about American Revolution 2 Electric Boogaloo, just like Cruisin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, or whatever the fuck that movie actually is that no one's seen, but everybody knows the fucking name from. That's the Boogaloo, is like literally we're going to do 1776 2 and knock over the government and throw off the feds and then reestablish another government. Like, that's the whole point of that. He says that same thing in the video like 15 or 20 minutes later. Proud Boys, thank you for Gavin McGinnis. Yes. The only thing I don't like about Wendigoon is him calling Wendigos cryptids. They're mythological creatures, not cryptids. I always found that weird in communities online. I think cryptid works still, right? Cryptid is basically like a mythological creature people think they've seen today. Like, if the Mothman was from 500 years ago and people didn't see the Mothman anymore, they would still, it would be a mythological creature, but it would be a cryptid if it was around. I don't know. Cryptid's a strange word. Either way, he actually does talk about that. This is going to drive people crazy. If you're from West Virginia or just any part of Appalachia in general, this is probably going to be the part that fucking actually drives you crazy, because this is what I get into. He talks about the area that Wendigoon is from or around. He says Appalachia the entire time. And he talks about, or talks about it as though he's from Appalachia, which, first off, crazy you're not saying it right. I mean, I guess you're out there by Rocky Top or whatever if you're in fucking North Carolina or anything. But he talks about Appalachia and just literally says every white person you see in Appalachia, the Appalachian range, by the way, is huge. We're talking fucking eastern Kentucky, all of West Virginia, eastern Pennsylvania, western New York, I think that's something like the Alleghenies. That whole section, North Carolina, South Carolina, I think touches it. Virginia touches it, obviously. I think part of it's in Maryland. It's like 15 total states are part of Appalachia. And he says, literally, that's a part of America that's so racist. There's no black people in it. And if you see a white person, you should just assume that they're racist until you are proven otherwise. Which is, how fucking stupid do you have to be to say something like that? That is insane. Because first off, it's just like cultural erasure of everyone that's there. Everyone that's there. Because like, if you just go to Appalachia, you will find Whole lot of fucking anti-racists. Whole bunch of them. That's the heart of the labor movement. You can go down to Matewan. Gay Appalachians are a thing. They're black Appalachians. There are all over the place. There's a lot of interbred people up there. I don't know how to say it the right way, but you get the Melungeon and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of people that are up in the hills in West Virginia. Sometimes I think they're white, and they are literally not by any metric. They don't even fucking look white, but they consider themselves white. They fly around, they fly little Confederate flags and shit, because a lot of that, even for them, isn't even racist. It's just like, I fucking hate the current American government. It's very complex and strange. Like, it's a very varied area. The only real truth about Appalachia is, holler to holler, you're going to run into almost completely fucking different people. Here to 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 here. A lot of motherfuckers in Appalachia really just want to be left alone. And a lot of the times it's because people from North Carolina, like, bitch, are you out of your fucking mind? Trying to call all the people in fucking West Virginia or Appalachia, you know, sorry I use those like kind of 50-50, but like call them fucking racist and shit. Just for being in a place that often you're too poor to leave. You know what I mean? Grow up in a fucking tar paper shack outside of Sofia. Like, you know, where are you from? Like, dude, I'm from a town that doesn't even have a name anymore because someone knocked the fucking sign down. So technically I just tell everyone I'm from Beckley, but we're from an unincorporated township. I'm from unincorporated township outside of Beckley. And, yeah, I grew up in a tar paper shack. My dad's on fucking opioids, and I got, like, no fucking money. Like, are you racist? No. Or are you sure? Because In Praise of Shadows said he might be. He also thinks that if you watch fun movies, you're contributing to, like, the death of the West. He's on the left, by the way. Oh, didn't H.P. Lovecraft write a story about a black Appalachian? I have no idea. Half-breeds. But literally, like, just all kinds of people were fucking interbreeding with each other. Scots, Irish, black, fucking Native American. That's kind of most of it. But you have German immigrants. You have all kinds of, like, dude, the Appalachia is crazy because it was basically like 3 different paths through the mountains from the entirety of kind of like the New World, you know what I mean? Like the New York area in New England to travel through into like the Ohio River valleys and stuff. And some people stuck there. They intermarried with Native Americans. They intermarried. I mean, I don't know if they got married even because that's like a cultural thing, but you know, you interbreed with everybody. You make all kinds of new types of people that like are there. But then you like, even talk about like Appalachia, you have towns like Rand, which is like an all black town. Outside of Charleston, where Randy Moss is from. It's a very complicated fucking region full of different people. Are there racists there? Yeah. There's racists everywhere in America. I think the thing with Appalachia, though, is people are so fucking remote, they don't mind being outwardly racist as opposed to the people who are inwardly racist but run the fucking country. You know what I mean? You can much more easily fly your racism flag, so to say, when you're on a one street, you know, the one road that's leading into fucking Welch. You know, you'll see like, oh, there's another dipshit with a fucking with stars and bars out there. There he goes. You go down the street, you talk to like, hey, are you guys all racist? Like, no, I fucking hate racists. That's Jim. Jim's a piece of shit. Everyone fucking hates Jim. Jim drives up and down the fucking street and there's a motorcycle all night. It's complicated. But like the biggest issue with that is twofold. Not only is it insane to call an entire region racist, it also infers that the regions around it aren't, which is kind of equally as crazy because I grew up in Ohio, right? The birthplace of fucking Vernon Sherman himself. Ohio's full of fucking racists, crazy racists. They just don't have they don't fly the flag, so to say, all the goddamn time. But there's plenty of them there. New York City, right? A liberal bastion. You go to talk to fucking people in New York City, you will hear racism. I mean, like, dude, Donnie Trump is from fucking Fifth Avenue. You know what I mean? And this idea that somehow if you're not born in the racism spot, you'll probably be less racist is kind of fucking psychotic. And it really does just shit on the people that live there that aren't bad, because they are there. You know what I mean? Like, they're there. I don't mean like they're there like I think they are. Like, literally, my wife is from Charleston. She's as anti-racist as it gets. She's from Charleston, West Virginia. She still has friends there that are highly anti-racist and very irritated all the time with the current fucking people that are running shit. One of the biggest reasons people are running shit there are so bad is because all the people that fucking aren't like that leave a lot. You know, it's like, oh, is it such a high percentage? Like, not much higher than everywhere else. Really not. Like, America is kind of racist in its own right. You know what I mean? Like, we're all living on the stolen land. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be from some libfuck area in like Massachusetts. Like, we voted Democrat in every election that a good Democrats ran in the last 50 or 60 years. It's like, yeah, well, why do you live on Algonquin Parkway? Are you Algonquin? You know? This area is named for something of the Cree people. Like, oh, okay. Are any of you Cree? No. All right, yeah. You guys are the special ones. You kept the names after the people you fucking slaughtered, like, on the street. What am I supposed to gather from this? The white savior vibes coming from that guy was wild in that vid. It's insane. It's insane. Ooh, fuck, dude. I'm like, either the weather's changing or I'm finally starting to loosen up like that. I've seen people flying Confederate flags in their trucks out in rural areas of Minnesota. It's a lot more to do with rural versus urban than any specific state or region. Even then, it's a lot more complicated. I really think it's just people that aren't underneath a lot of scrutiny are just more likely to be whatever it is they are in public. That's kind of it. You know what I mean? If you live in an area where people don't call it out as much, or you just don't have any people to fucking embarrass yourself in front of, you'll just do shit more often. And so, like, yeah, country people are like more racist, but I feel like the most racist people are in the fucking outer suburbs, you know? Like, a lot of the times it's like, oh, this is like, you know, I'm in a rural area, and you're not really in a rural area. It just feels like that because you're outside of the city. What you're in is in the suburban sprawl, and all the fucking racists that you're seeing driving like these fucking uplifted F-350s with no mud on the tires, they're not rural, as in like they work on farms and shit. These guys aren't like fucking going out and cow punching all day. They live in the fucking suburbs. Like, the dude's a fucking like corporate accountant or some shit and wears fucking like tight jeans and a Budweiser hat, but the guy lives in a fucking 2.5-story fucking house out on a giant plot of land in a gated neighborhood that's in a fucking tax shelter outside of the goddamn city that he makes all of his fucking money from, because he doesn't want any money going to inner city schools, because he fucking hates black people. Why? Because he's a fucking rich person. That shit makes them money. I don't know. To be fair to New Yorkers, it seems like a city where the different ethnicities all kind of hate each other, have no choice but to work together, and kind of make it work in the end. That's everywhere. That's everywhere. All the places. All of the places. If you get into, this is one of the things. This is kind of like where racism and bigotry and shit kind of come from. Is that if you have a beef with somebody, but you can't put your finger on what exactly it is about them that is bugging you, which might be an actual real thing. If you are intellectually lazy or don't give a shit, you'll say, you know what? I bet it's just because they're fucking different color than me, or because they're like different X thing than me, different religion than me, different fucking like national origin than me. And then you fucking like live with that instead of actually trying to think it through. Tyler, a homeowners association is about as racist as a Klan meeting. NIMBYs just act like they aren't racist. Yeah, it's just because it's not gauche. You know what I mean? It's untoward to act like that, but they harbor the ideas inside them. Yeah, like there's just the worst thing you can do is try to pretend for even a second that somehow you're immune to racism. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not from the fucking ignorant rural area. I'm not from where all these fucking hillbillies are from. No one around me would ever be racist. We're not racist here. And then it's like, yeah, but you're in a majority city, but still like 48% voted for Trump and shit. Like, you know, you got some fucking crazy people out there. They're not driving in. They're not driving in fucking 10 hours to go spray paint the synagogue. You know what I mean? Like that's coming from inside the house, buddy. Or you say, I'm not racist, but you know stereotypes exist for a reason. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't believe they're racist, but support all the racist ideas, which is kind of the case with this guy with the fucking white saviorism. This dude's actually a bigot. Like literally, when he has a chance to say bigot, that's the thing. That this In Praise of Shadows is a fucking bigot. He is. He just doesn't know it because he's also self-righteous and an asshole. The second he gets a second, the moment he has a chance to say something bigoted and he can't be called on it because he can get away with it, when he's just like, oh, you know, fucking poor white people, I can shit on them all I want. He shits on poor white people the fucking second he can. He shits on them just because they're poor white people and lets you fill in the fucking blank. He gets to dictate and essentialize their entire existence. Why? Because he's a fucking bigot. He's doing the same thing to everyone else too. He is just recouching it and shit to make sure that he stays within the lines that's been given to him. So, you know, he's not a bigot against black people, but they are like the fucking cannibals in that thing, you know? They are the kind I'm not a bigot against Native Americans. I think it would be justified for them to, you know, embrace their violent and destructive urges and turn into animals when confronted with white settlers. Like, that is just their right. I see. I'm a good lefty. I know that it's the Native Americans' right to start doing war hoops and hollers and strip their clothes off and paint their faces and start chopping white people to pieces because we stole their land. I understand that that's how they are, and we should respect that. It's like, dude, that's fucking worse. The call's coming from inside the house. God damn, like that shit is just like, it gets my whole spine. Fucking like lose my mind. You know, you need to understand that you have internalized bigotry as a white person. You think it's bad that and want to say something against. Black people cannot help the way that they were raised, and because of their poverty and their ignorance, they will, in a heartbeat, just start listening to their rap music and joining gangs and committing crimes because that is a cultural thing. You need to respect their culture. What the fuck are you saying? Shut up! Don't. You start fucking listen, like have a guy like this start talking about his racial beliefs that he thinks are like all good. He's like, I'm not a racist. Start talking about all your racial beliefs out in public. Well, I'm like, dude, get fucking 10 feet away from me, please. He walked up to a black guy at Target 2 weeks ago and just said, I know that things are, he just grabs this black guy trying to buy some fucking cheese, you know? You're at the cheese counters trying to get some shit for the cookout. I gotta make burgers here and watch the game. This dude walks up to you, grabs your hand. I just want to tell you, I know that this Drake Kendrick thing is very hard for your people. And if you ever need anything, the white community, the non-bigoted white community is here for you. Oh my God. Also pretty sure you said that people living on the Cherokee Res are living in a shithole or something. Oh, that's rough. Reservations can be pretty fucking rough. A lot of times you gotta drive through a way shittier fucking white area to get to the reservation. You get to the reservation, like, okay, I mean, I see why you guys are getting fucked over here. You guys are getting fucked over here. I get it, but like, why did I have to drive through like white hell to get to this area? Like, oh yeah, they try to jump back and forth over the border to break the law all the time, so they just have a little community of the shittiest fucking white people you've ever seen in your fucking life. It's like, if you don't know this, sovereign lands sometimes don't have reciprocity. I'm a queer person that moved to a rural place from Absentia, Canadian, $7, thank you. And I've really come to hate how smug and condescending cosmopolitan essay writer lefties are. It's same, and they do a lot of damage. They do a lot of damage because everybody reacts to that with this in their mind. Like, fuck this guy. But if you don't know, this isn't every reservation because I haven't been to everyone. Just a few ones that I've been to. This is a pretty common thing that somewhere outside of it, the reservation boundary, right? Inside the reservation is like sovereign land, like literally it's native country. And so sometimes things won't be illegal there or they will be, in back and forth kind of stuff. So like they'll have maybe different laws and they may or may not have reciprocity with the whatever version, local, federal, state, whatever, American government system that's on the American side of the border. And little shithole fucking towns will pop up for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's just so that people can bounce across the border because you will, unless reciprocity means, hey, we're going to follow your laws a little bit on the border, you follow our laws. And so if somebody crosses, we'll put them in jail. And natives fucking hate American cops coming on their land. Like 9 times out of 10. I'm pretty sure there's somewhere that they're like, that's not the case here. Like, okay, well, fine. But generally, it's like, hey, that's American laws over there. I don't give a fuck. If he did it, we'll figure it out. You stay the fuck over on your side of the goddamn border. Our border's over here. We'll fucking take care of our own shit because they don't want you getting comfortable coming across the border and trying to enforce American laws on sovereign native territory. But these little fucking border towns sort of things will pop up because sometimes you can be wanted for a crime in native country, right? And you won't be wanted for it in non-native country and vice versa. That's been getting tied up a lot more over time. Some of this is like kind of outdated at this point. Some of it's not. And so like those little towns will have already been there because of that. And now it's just kind of like, it is what it is. And I'm talking like shithole. Like sometimes it's literally just a liquor store in the fucking, the house of the guy that runs the liquor store. Because inside native territory and the native town that's next door is 2 fucking hours down the road. But this is the closest line in. And so that's the closest place that you can buy liquor. They drive 2 hours to go to that liquor store, buy it, come back. America's crazy. Armando Ruiz, thank you for the $5, man. One of the weirdest things I've seen is people here in PR saying, I'm not racist, but I don't like U.S. black people. Most people in PR are mixed. It's propaganda. It's propaganda pushed out. I love that American black people is like a specific type of black people to be mad at because American propaganda, gets exported across the world. And so like people in like in what countries they don't even speak fucking English would be like, oh, American black people, I've heard all sorts of things. Like, the fuck? Bro, you guys got a fucking slave market with your own people full of it. Can you chill? They're like, oh, cultural sensitivity there, buddy. Okay. It's wild. Anyway, this guy gets into the dumbest 45 minutes I've ever. I won't go into it because I would have to like run shit down. This dude tries to and fails to call out the entirety of like the center-right commentary community, and starts off with maybe like the dumbest thing that you can do. So he says, I actually remember part of this. He brings up Wendigoon, right? And he says Wendigoon knows that Wendigoon followers or Wendigoon fans, I guess, people that follow Wendigoon have called In Praise of Shadows the F slur, right? A few times. And Wendigoon never said anything to them about that because, I don't know, I guess they send the same message also, hey, at Wendigoon, I am going to call In Praise of Shadows a slur. I don't understand why you would even try to make that point. But he makes the argument that Wendigoon's army of people that follow him all want to be really, really mean to In Praise of Shadows. Twitter drama is spread out throughout the entirety of this. I forgot at the very beginning of this thing, he goes on a fucking, one of his like 15-minute rants in Praise of Shadows is how he destroyed his career 2 years ago with that fucking one video I keep bringing up, the Hills Have Eyes thing. And since then, he's been like doing worse and worse and worse. And it's like, man, if you if you haven't in 2 years, if you haven't like kind of fucking fixed, if you haven't figured out where the hole in the boat is yet that started there, and you're still making this mistake, like, dude, you're not. Don't even bail water out at this point. You're fucking. You're under the ocean. James Cameron is about to come and fucking look at your corpse in a fucking submersible vehicle. Wendigooners is, I think, the term. Goddamn. I doubt that Wendigoon would know that channel with how huge he is. Apparently, he followed him. That's the thing. Is that Wendigoons, Wendigooners, whatever. Some of them said mean things to him, which happened. At a certain point, channels get too big, really, for you to like make any sense of like what's going to happen in your community. You do have to set it up early, you know, and be like, hey, I don't want certain things to happen. You have to punish certain behavior and ward other kind of behavior so that you can at least say, like, this is what I've intended. But at some point, when you get to a certain size, you will have people that join your community or even just say they're a part of your community and say shit, and it's bad. It is what it is. One thing that I have proven, thanks to the sacrifice of Cornboy Actual Jake, there is no way to argue unless somebody has actively said, I want you to go harass people, as Keffels has, that people in a community are being organized to brigade. You know what I mean? Or that you want your community to brigade. If you guys ever seen the Actual Jake versus Destiny interview, debate, I guess, where he tries to say, like, Destiny, you have made a bad community, and your bad community does bad things. Jake failed that debate kind of like soundly, because all Destiny has to say is, no, I didn't, unless you have proof. In Praise of Shadows tries to do the same thing and falls down the same rabbit hole where instead of, you know, he doesn't have any proof that the guy did it. He just tries to draw the fucking Pepe Sylvia fucking chart from Always Sunny and say, like, he has talked to all of these different people. He has done all of these different things. And then he followed me as if to say, I see you, like I'm hunting you. Just absolute fucking schizo posting. It is crazy. Dylan Burns says the dildos community joke. That's actually pretty. Yeah, so anyway, he just tries to, like, basically guilt by association Wendigoon into proving against all evidence that Wendigoon's this bad guy. And here's the thing, they're both like the same size, and the guy who's following him on Twitter, and like, just talk to him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I make videos about people, but once I get to a certain size, and I know people actually like respond to me, I am going to, I feel like, be obligated to reach out and talk to them to some degree. You know, I'm not even going to waste my time before 10K because I don't want to seem like I'm fucking trying to clout shark my way up by like, hey, can I talk to you about this? I'm going to make a video. Do you want to talk about it, kind of deal? But after a certain point, when you get to a certain size, and you know you're going to have a level of like penetration with your video. If your videos are basically getting 6 figures or more per, you should absolutely be trying to talk to the people, or at least have explained that you can no longer reach them. If you're going to do like video essay content on them, because it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? To not at least reach out to them for some sort of statement on something. Like you don't always absolutely have to in every single situation, because that would be crazy, you know? But if you're going to make a video with a 45-minute segment on it, trying to call somebody a neo-Nazi, and you're huge, and you can reach out and talk to them, and them following you on Twitter is a big part of it. Maybe reaching out to the guy and saying like, hey, do you want to sit down and talk about how fucking neo-Nazi vibed your community is? Just do it. Maybe they'll go, oh, I didn't realize that. Maybe they'll say, like, go fuck yourself. Either way, when you make a series of accusations against them and have put it all together, it's going to come together a lot more concretely at the end to at least say, like, I got this guy's opinion on it. Because the statement that we got was Wendigoon apologized to fucking in Praise of Shadows, even if it's completely disingenuous. If you didn't get the guy's statement and you're just assuming shit for 45 minutes the way that he does in this thing, that's the chunk he took off. Wendigoon literally just says, hey, I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't know that my community acted like that. I had no idea any of this was going on. I'm sorry for that. I like your videos. I like this video specifically, and I'm sorry for any of this. If you ever want to talk, I'm around or something like that. Like, you just got obliterated. You got fucking obliterated because you're trying to, like, be small bean, but you're like a massive creator. You're major. You know, I think just kind of anybody over 6 figures, that's a serious amount of weight. Video for video to be throwing around. Anybody that's, I think Shadows is at 395. It was probably higher a little bit ago. That's pretty significant. At half a mil, it's crazy. At a mil plus, like, Jesus fucking Christ. You've got to be reaching out to people for comment. And if they at least say no, then you can say no. But you have to kind of do it if you're putting together stuff, because holy shit, that's a lot of eyes for you to make all of these grand statements about somebody, but you never ask them. You never ask the guy. And it's not something that he talks about. It's not like, if I want to make some conjecture about Hassan's opinions on fucking, I won't use the most obvious one. If I want to make some conjecture about Hassan's opinions on piracy, right? I feel pretty confident in the available material to make a very strong statement about it, because he himself has spoken on it at length. You don't really need to ask somebody's opinion on something they are constantly giving their opinion on. It would still be a nice thing to do at a certain level, but if I was going to try to make some giant statement about Hassan's views on nudity in gaming, right, which I've never seen him talk about. I'm trying to get this towards like Stellar Blade, right? And I wanted to talk gooning in gaming. If I wanted to give, make a video on Hassan and gooning in gaming, I think it would be very practical to either do first off, to do research on whether or not he's talked about it. But if I was a larger creator, to ask him, hey, do you want to give your opinions on this? He might say yes, he might say no, but at least you can say I reached out and he didn't say anything back to me. When you're going this personal on somebody and going, even if he is a literal fucking like flag waving neo-Nazi, you should fucking reach out and ask just to make sure, just in case, because fuck, like, goddamn, that's a lot. And even if he can still respond the same way he did and make you look like an absolute fucking asshole. On top of this, the guy goes in and makes some crazy ass fucking claims about other people too. Accurate or not, the thing about the world is, even if something's true, it's not about what you can say about somebody, it's about what you can prove. You know what I mean? Up until then, it's your conjecture. That's the point of the dog whistle. The point of dog whistling, the point of crypto shit, is that it's hard to call out. And you trying to call it out anyway, even though it's difficult, because you have in your mind an audience of people who are just going to say, yes, the dog whistle. Oh, yeah, the dog whistle. Hold on. The dog whistle. The whistle for the dog. The dog's whistle. Yeah. The whistle specifically for the dog. The dog's whistle. I didn't quite get that. Cusco's poison. Poison specifically made for Cusco. Cusco's poison. I don't know what it. The point is it'll make you look like a fucking crazy person, because if you extrapolate it out, does nobody hear that? No one does. It's a fucking dog whistle. If you start walking around going, I can't believe nobody's talking about the loud sound I hear in the room. Everyone's sitting there quietly, having nothing had explained to them, watching you literally walk around, just shitting your fucking pants. Oh, what's that? Can no one hear that? Can no one hear the noise I hear? Hey, if you can't hear the noise I hear, you're surely a racist. My people can hear it. Why can't you hear it? You're gonna say, you have to tread delicately. That's the purpose of the entire thing. That's why it is the way it is. That's the point. So if you are very comfortable in your little group saying, like, I heard a dog whistle and I'm going to call it out, that's okay, because your whole group knows about the tone. They know the tone. They can understand, I've heard the tone. If you take it out into fucking normie world and start talking about crypto fascists and secret signs and little and conspiracy. You sound like a fucking psycho. You will sound like an absolute nut job if you add on top of that the fact that you are a condescending, clearly bigoted, non-research doing, nasally voiced fucking weirdo that dresses like a fucking like hippie from the 1970s, but not all of his outfits look like something one of the Charles Manson family would wear type hippies with that goddamn fucking Noah Samson mustache and greasy fucking like limp hair. Like, you look like a psycho. You sound like a fucking psycho, and you're completely offensive to everybody that you're trying to reach with this. Like he managed to, you started off by just being offensive as fuck. You can't be calling people hillbillies and rednecks if you aren't from, I hate to break this down to you, but it's kind of like our word. If you're non-white and you want to do it, I can't stop you. You'll look like a fucking asshole sometimes you won't. I just don't give a shit. But if you're a rich white person, or a rich coded white person, if you look like you don't fucking work a lot and you start calling people hillbillies and rednecks, all the people like I grew up with are going to fucking hate you off rip, because you just sound like every other rich cunt that'd call the police on us for driving through your area. Because when there's not a black people person around to treat like shit, rich people treat us like shit. That's the reason racism continues to exist amongst the white working class, because everybody wants to at least not feel like they're completely on the bottom of the bucket sometimes. That's just how it is. You sound like one of those people. You sound like a guy you go over to fucking do like some plumbing work at their house, and then they look at your shoes and go like, fucking, you get mad when you see a work truck. You're like, I don't know how somebody can drive that. One thing that kills me, dude, I'll never not do it. People, I fucking, I have working people have to come to my house and fix shit because I can't do everything myself. I just don't have that kind of skill, and I'm getting old now. But my entire life, I'm still a little bit clean cut. If someone says, I got a little dirt on my hand, like, oh, you don't need to shake my hand, I got dirt on it. Shake that fucking person's hand. Let me just tell you that right now, for the rest of your life. It's gonna sound crazy to you, maybe. Anybody, if you ever reach your hand out to shake someone's hand, they say, oh, my hand's a little dirty, don't worry about it. Shake their fucking hand anyway. And wash your hand later if it actually gets dirty. That's a thing to keep in mind. All right. I think in Praise of Shadows, you go, oh, okay. Maybe in the most insane circumstance of like, I literally just pulled my hand out of like a fucking porta shitter, I would still think, I'm like, hey, fuck, I'll clean my hand too. I'll shake hands. We'll go to the fucking bathroom together. I can't even think of a reason to like try to walk away from it. That's the vibe that you give off when you talk like that. And the thing is I know that if you treat fucking like broke ass white people like that, you're gonna treat anybody that you can bad, because it's indicative. There's everybody that talks like that. It's always a sneeze away from like, oh, also like they're bad tippers too. That's strange. Or if they're good tippers, they're good tippers when they got money. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. I gave a $60 tip as a flex. Like, okay, cool. Yeah. But you're not paying the waiter. You're not paying the waiter when you fucking don't have that much money. I don't have an extra $10 to pay the fucking tip here. I'm gonna give him $1. Like, hey, no, it's the restaurant. If you didn't have enough money for the tip, why did you go in and buy food there? You know what I mean? Go fucking go to McDonald's. You don't have to tip at McDonald's. Why'd you go to the fucking restaurant and then you got money for a tip? He's like one of those kind of guys. Then it gets a little bit deeper and deeper. You start talking about other like non-white issues, but it's always sus as fuck for some reason. Like, you can't just leave it at like, oh yeah, they had a bad shake, but they're like everybody else. No, it's got to be like, well, they're, I think there's a nobility. Boy, I like the kind of girls that I grew up with, but I've always noticed that not everybody has an appreciation for the exoticness of Mediterranean women. Fucking weirdo, dude. I was born and raised in a rural community. Urban lefties online will write you off the second they find out where you're from. It screams classism to me. It really is. It really is. And, you know, it's not like, oh, fucking, on that note, you should excuse every dumb thing a fucking poor white person says if they're a fucking bigot or a racist or some shit. No, that's not it. Or you should ignore other problems for that problem. No, just understand it's a fucking problem. It's intersectionality, baby. Class is part of it. You know what I mean? Class and race, all that shit. But I'll tell you right now, like, everybody that's fucking classist, if you switch the colors that are in charge, they're still going to be classes, right? The kind of system that a guy like that puts in place is not going to be the kind of system that benefits the poor black people in his life. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the guy that, like, oh, okay, shit, fucking, well, we have a fucking Latino majority in this town now. All of a sudden, like, oh, we're going to treat the working class Latinos good? No. You're just going to be like, oh, hey, I hired a white gardener. That's what he's going to tell you. Now that Latinos are in charge here, I've hired an all-white garden staff. Try to give it back to the people. Like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
Hope you enjoyed your time on the Westside.